Shalom, Yashala, his brother Mapathak. That'll be key, but in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. And this is gonna be a quick video dealing with Romans 14, right? Verses 14 on down, right? Chiefly 14 and 15. Right? Because a lot of Christians will go to this verse and tell you that you can eat unclean foods, right? And that the Most High has made all foods unclean somehow miraculously in the New Testament, right? But that's not what this is going into. So we're gonna go into it, and Lord willing, this is edifying, right? And Lord willing, we can kind of break this thing down and make it plain upon tables. And before we go into it, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. That'll be all praises to the Most High God Yahweh in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world will ignorantly call Jesus Christ, but we know Him as Yahweh Shai in the Lashawan Kadash, right, in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. And we're gonna get right into this thing. And we're gonna start it off with Romans 14 and verse 14, right? And it says, I know and am persuaded by the Lord Yahweh Shai that there is nothing unclean of itself. Right? So a lot of Christians would kind of just jump in there and say, hey, that means nothing is unclean. We can eat pork, right? We can eat mouse, right? We can eat damn dog, cat, damn lobster, right? That's how they would break that down, right? And it says, but to him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean, right? But what this is dealing with food sacrificing to idols. The same thing Paul was dealing with in 1 Corinthians 8 and in 1 Corinthians 10. You understand? This is dealing with food that is sacrificing to idols, right? And it says, I'm going to read it again. It says, I know and am persuaded by the Lord Yahweh Shai that there is nothing unclean of itself, but to him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean. So Paul is basically saying, hey, so one brother might say, oh no, that's sacrificing to idols. I'm not eating that. You understand? Right? But you might have another brother that's a little stronger in the faith who's going to say, hey, there's only one true living power, and that's Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Right? So that idol don't mean nothing. So I'm going to eat this meat. You understand? So that's what Paul was dealing with. Right? Real quick, let's go up to Romans 14 and 1. It says, because this, you got to deal with the whole context of the chapter. Right? So it says, him that is weak in the faith, receive ye. Right? But not to doubtful disputation. So if you got a brother that's a little weaker in the faith, you receive him, right? But don't receive a brother that's weak in the faith that's going to just kind of argue you all the time. We can't do this, brother. Are you sure Yahweh Shai is coming back? Right? Things like that. Not to doubtful disputations, right? Vain disputes. It says, for one believeth that he may eat all things. So you might have one that's strong in the faith. He like, man, I can eat all things, right? And this is not talking about unclean foods. You got to understand that these men that Paul were dealing with already understood the what's the word I'm looking for? They understood the dietary law. You understand? So they're not reading this and saying, oh, Paul's saying we can eat unclean foods. That's not what this is dealing with, right? So it says, for one believeth that he may eat all things, right? Another who is weak eateth herbs. So even today you have that going on. You might have one brother in the truth who says, hey, I'm not eating no meat. It's GMOs, right? They're defiled, right? The so-called white man might sneak pork in it or whatever it may be, right? A brother that's a little weaker in the faith, he might say these things, right? You might have a brother that's strong in the faith who says, hey, I'm going to pray over it and, hey, I'm going to count on grace, man, right? I believe in Yahweh Shai. I believe in Yahweh Yahweh Shai. I'm going to count on my grace and I'm going to eat this thing, man, right? The Lord already told us that we was going to eat food that was defiled, man, right? So reading on, it says, let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not. Right? So that brother who eats and be like, man, I'm gonna eat this, man. I don't care what you talk about as far as them pumping the beef with steroids or this beef being GMO, right? Or back in the ancient times, dealing with the idols, a brother might be like, man, I don't care what you're talking about as far as them idols. There's only one Lord, and that's Yahweh Yahweh Shai, right? Right? And another brother might be like, man, I don't know, man. He sacrificed that unto to Zeus, man, right? He sacrificed that unto Artemis, right? Whatever Greek or Roman gods you could name, man, right? So I'm gonna read that again, verse 3. It says, let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, right? So that brother that ate it, he not gonna look down at that brother like, man, this brother is weak, man, right? He believe in these damn idols, right? He believe his idols. These idols have power. Man, it's only one true God, Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. You going off, you're gonna be put to death, right? That's you can't do that, right? The Lord said, don't despise him that eateth not. You understand? It says, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth. And that brother that refused to eat the meat, right? Don't look at that brother that's eating and despise him, right? Or judge him. Oh, that brother is wicked, right? He eating food sacrificing to Artemis, right? He eating food sacrificing to white Jesus, right? He eating food sacrificing to damn Zeus, right? Don't look at that brother, because that brother has strong faith and he doesn't believe that any of those idols have powers, man, right? It says, for the Most High have received him. You see that? And it says, verse 4, who art thou that judgest another man's servant, right? Because that man is a servant of the Lord. To his own master he standeth or falleth, right? So the Lord is going to judge whether that man stand or fall, right? And it says, yeah, he shall be holding up, for the Most High is able to make him stand, right? And it's the point I want. And then we're going to jump back down. It says, verse 5, one man esteemeth one day above another. Another esteemeth every day alike. And that could go into like, hey, a brother might come into this truth. He might not think it's certain he might not think certain high holy days are important, right? He might be like, yeah, I don't really care to celebrate it, right? He might not show up to the feast day, right? He might think the Sabbath, oh, you celebrating the Sabbath on Saturday? That means you're worshiping Saturn, right? That's how one brother might look at it, right? You're worshiping the false god Saturn. I'm not celebrating the Sabbath day on the seventh day, right? So it says, one man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike, right? Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. And that's a heavy point. You got to be fully persuaded in your own mind. And that's what Paul was dealing with. He wasn't saying go eat you can eat pork now, right? He's dealing with food sacrificing to idols, right? So if your mind is fully persuaded that, oh, hey, the idol that was sacrificing to idols and that idol have some power over that food, hey, you don't eat it. But if another brother mind is fully persuaded, hey, I got faith that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is the only one true living power, right? And them idols ain't got no damn power, so I'm gonna eat this meat, right? Hey, let that man do what he gonna do, because he's fully persuaded in his own mind. You understand that only the Most High God has power over the foods. So now I'm gonna go back to verse. Let's read Romans 14 and verse 14 again. It says, I know and am persuaded by the Lord Yahushua that there is nothing unclean in himself. Right? So that's what Paul was going into. Paul has strong faith. He said, man, I know for sure that nothing is unclean in itself, man. Them idols ain't got no damn power over the Lord. Right? Them idols don't have any power in this world, man. Right? So Paul had full faith. Right? But now Paul is talking to the man that's weaker in faith. He said, but to him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean. Right, so if that brother that have a little, he's a little weaker in faith, and he says, hey, that thing is unclean because it's sacrificing to idols. Hey, man, you can't look down at that brother, man. Paul said through the Spirit of the Lord, he said, hey, to him it is unclean, man. Right, it's all good. To him, it's unclean, man. Right, let's go into 1 Corinthians 8 real fast. Right, so you got to understand what Paul is going into. Right, so this is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse, I'm going to start from 4, right? And it says, as concerning, therefore, the eating of those things that are offered. Let me get something real quick, right? Because I want to show that a lot of these brothers, a lot of our what you would call the Gentiles in the New Testaments, which were really Israelite foreigners. Hey, when they were in the world, right, so-called in the world, right, living as the Grecians, living as the Greeks, living the same way as the Romans, they were given over unto idols, man. Right, so in their mind, they will be weak when they first come into this truth, come into the knowledge. They have understanding of these idols. You understand? They were living like the Grecians, so to them these idols held some type of power, right? So let's get this real fast. It's Acts 17 and verse I want 16, right? And it says, just to get straight to the point, it says, now while Paul waited for them at Athens, his spirit was stirred in him when he saw the city wholly given to idolatry, right? So these different cities, right, in the Roman Empire, they were given unto idolatry, man, right? So all these new, I wouldn't want to call them new converts, right? But these brothers that came into the truth through their faith and Yahushua that were once living like the Grecians, to them, hey, they had knowledge, right, of all these different idols. And to them, hey, they might think these idols had some type of power because they were living in the world, right? So it says, his spirit was stirred in him when he saw the city was wholly given to idolatry. So all these different cities were given into idolatry, right? And verse 17 is another good point. It says, Therefore disputed he in the synagogue with the Jews, right, which showed you the city that he was in, Athens, which was the capital of Greece. It was Jews in there, man, right? And it says, and with the devout persons, and in the market daily with them that met with him, right? And they were in the market, right? Let's get this real quick, right? And I kind of got it up there. All praises, right? So it says, what was the agora of Athens used for, right? So this is the market that it's talking about. It says agora in ancient Greek cities, an open space that served as a meeting ground for the various activities of citizens, right? And it says the name first found. I want to get go a little more in depth in there. The agora, right? Salakia, agora in ancient Greece. It says the agora in ancient Greek cities, right, just like Athens, an open space that served as a meeting ground for various activities, right? That's going into the same thing. It says the agora was important because it was where the community congregated to discuss events, the day, politics, religion, philosophy, and legal matters, right? So it was basically like a marketplace, right? That's what I'm trying to get at. It was like a marketplace. It says in every Greek city, the marketplace called the agora was the center of daily life. Here people will work, trade goods, and meet friends, right? And conduct business deals. In the beginnings of Greek trade, people exchanged goods, services by bartering. The invention of coins made commerce simpler, right? So in these, I'm trying to get an image of it. Right? So, hey, it was a lot going on in the agora, right? In the marketplaces, right? They were selling things, right? Selling meats, right? And hey, you never know if those meats were sacrificed into idols, right? So this is what Paul was teaching about. I want to go back into Acts, right? Salakia, let's go back into Acts. And it's Acts 17, and I'm gonna start from. I'm gonna read on. It says, verse 18. Then certain philosophers of the Epicureans and the Stoics encountered him and said, "What will this babbler say?" Others, some, he seemeth to be a setter forth of strange gods, because he preached unto them Yahweh Shai and the resurrection. Right? So they thought Yahweh Shai and the resurrection was like a strange doctrine. Right? They thought Yahweh Shai was a new strange god. And they took him and brought him into Areopagus, saying, "May we know what is this new doctrine whereof thou speakest is? For thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. We would know therefore what these things mean." So these wicked men, they wanted to know what these damn they thought that Paul was speaking a strange doctrine, right? They thought Paul was bringing upon them a new idol, and they wanted to learn about it. So that's what was going on in the ancient Roman Empire, man. Right? All these different cities, right? They were giving unto idolatry, man. Right? And all they talked about was false gods and new doctrines and things like that, right? And it says, for all the Athenians and strangers which were there spent their time in nothing else but either to till or to hear some new thing. You see that? That's all they wanted to know, right? With some new doctrine, right? So that's all I wanted to get on that. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 8 now, right? So this is what was going on. There was a lot of idolatry going on. You understand? Real quick, before we go into 1 Corinthians 8, let's get this in Acts 15. Right? So this Acts 15 and verse 28, right? And it says, "For it seemed good to the Holy Spirit and to us to lay upon you no greater burden than these necessary things, that ye abstain from meats offered to idols, right? And from blood and from things strangled." So when the apostles were dealing with somebody that was new in the faith, they would give them what you would call, just for lack of better terms, a starter pack, right? They're not going to give them all 613 laws and say, keep these or you're going to die, right? They give them a starter pack, right? So what they told them was, and through the Spirit, if it was the will of the Lord will give them the increase and they'll start to keep more laws, right? And they will grow in the Spirit, right? But they would just give them this so-called starter pack, right? That, and I'm going to read it. It says that you abstain from meats offered to idols, right? And they were giving them certain laws, right, to deal with what they were going through on a high level at that time, which was idolatry. You understand? And so it says that you abstain from meats offered to idols, and from blood, and from things strangled, and from fornication. Right? So these were things that were that the Romans, right, allowed, right? They were eating meat with blood in it. They were eating meat offered unto idols, right? They were eating meat that was strangled, right? And they were involved in fornication on a high level. So that's why they gave them these things, right? And it says, from which if you keep yourselves, you should do well, fare ye well, right? So let's go to 1 Corinthians 8 now. So we just went into some precepts to show that our brothers that were living like the Grecians, hey man, they had they were heavy into idolatry, right? So that's what Paul was dealing with, right? So let's go to 1 Corinthians 8. We're gonna make this plain. This 1 Corinthians 8 and 4, it says, as concerning therefore the eating of those things that are offered and sacrificed unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, right? You see that? So a brother that's stronger than faith, they know that, hey, the idol ain't got no power in this world, right? And it says, and that there is none other God but one, right? And we understand that Yahweh is the everlasting power, man, right? And these idols ain't got no damn power. Hey, so we going to eat that meat, man, right? So that's what Paul going into. And it says, for though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many and lords many, but to us there is but one God, right? So Paul basically saying, just, hey, a lot of things different people call gods, right? All these different idols. But to us that have full faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, hey, man, we know that it's only one God, right? And it says, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods, Salaki, verse 6, but to us there is one God, the Father of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Lord, Yahushai HaMashiach, by whom are all things, and we by him. Howbeit, right now, check this out. Verse 7, it's a heavy point. It says, howbeit, there is not in every man that knowledge. So every man don't have that same knowledge that Yahweh Yahushai, chiefly Yahweh, the Most High God, is one God, man. Right? We have one Lord, Yahushai. Right? So he says, howbeit, there is not in every man that knowledge. Right? For some with conscience of the idol unto this hour eat it as a thing offered unto an idol, right? So now he's dealing with those brothers that's weaker in the faith, right? They're just coming into the faith. They were just living like the Greeks. They have knowledge, right, of all these different idols, right? So their mind might tell them, wait, I don't know, man, right? I was taught all my life that these idols have some type of power, right? They might be a little weaker in the faith, right? So it says, howbeit there is not in every man that knowledge, for some with conscience of the idol unto this hour eat it as a thing offered unto an idol, right? So a brother that all his life was raised to believe that damn white Jesus had power, right? Or in the ancient times that Zeus had power, right? Or whatever Greek god you can name, you understand? They gonna look at it like, wait, I don't know, man. They said that sacrificing to Zeus, I'm not eating it, right? Because to them, hey, that idol got some kind of power, man, right? It says, for some with conscience of the idol unto this hour, eat it as a thing offered unto an idol. So in his mind, he's going to feel like, wait, that's offered unto Zeus. I'm not eating that, right? Another brother might be like, hey, wait, that's offered unto Buddha. I'm not eating that. Hey, but a brother that's a little stronger in the faith, he's going to be like, man, Buddha ain't got no damn power, right? Damn Artemis or Zeus ain't got no damn power. I'm eating this meat, man, right? So reading on, it says, Salaki, and it says, and their conscience being weak is defiled, right? So that brother that's like, man, that's sacrificing to Buddha, right? If his mind tells him, right, his conscience tell him that Buddha has some type of power, and that if he eats that, right, he's going to be eating food sacrificed to idols, hey, he better not eat it, right? Because his conscience, right, being weak is going to be defiled, man. He's going to defile himself, and ultimately he's going to destroy himself, right? But to that brother that's like, man, Buddha ain't got no damn power, right? Hey, that brother, he can go ahead and eat it, man. Right? Because he's not condemned in his conscience, man. Right? So verse 8, it says, but meat commendeth us not to the Most High, for neither if we eat, nor, so like it says, neither if we eat are we better, neither if we eat not are we the worst. Right? So, hey, just because you're a little stronger in the faith, right, and you eat it and you understand that the Most High God is the only one true living power, hey, that don't make you better than that other brother who's like, man, I'm not eating that because it's sacrificing to idols, man. You're not better than that brother, man. Right? It says, neither if we eat not are we the worst. In verse 9 it says, but take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak, right? But don't allow the liberty that you have through your faith to be a stumbling block to your brother, man, right? It's going to break down itself as we read on. It says, verse 10, for if any man see thee, which thou hast knowledge, sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered unto idols, right? So you might have a brother that look at you and you eating things that's in his mind is offered unto idols, and now he follow you, and now he's going to defile his conscience because deep down inside he feel like, man, I shouldn't be doing this, man, right? This is offered unto idols, man. I'm gonna be destroyed, right? So you don't want to be a stumbling block unto your brother, right? And even on the another fold, you got a brother that don't drink wine. In his mind, right, his conscience is fully set that wine is wicked, right? That he shouldn't be drinking wine, right? Wine defiles you. You understand, right? Hey, wait till that brother leave before you sip some wine. Don't just sip wine in front of that brother's face and kind of tap him on the shoulder. Hey, brother, you might as well. Hey, brother, this ain't bad for you, man. Sip some of this, man. Right? Get your drink on, man. Right? Don't be a stumbling block unto your brother, man. You understand? And it says, and through thy knowledge shall the weak brother perish for whom Yahushua died. And now you're going to cause your weak brother to perish, man. Right? And it says, but when ye sin so against the brethren and wound their weak conscience, ye sin against Yahushua. You see that? And it says, wherefore, if meat make thy brother to offend, I would eat no flesh while the world standeth, lest I make my brother to offend. You see that? So, hey, I'm not going to take my brother who's a vegetarian because he don't want to eat, because he feel like all meat are sacrificed to idols in this world, or he feels like they all have steroids and GMOs and all matters of just being defiled, man. Right? I'm not going to take my brother to a meat market and say, let's eat, man. Right? We could go somewhere, we could get a damn smoothie, right? We could get a fruit smoothie, right? I'm not going to cause my brother, I'm not going to be a stumbling block into my brother, right? So let's go back. Shalaki, let's go to, matter of fact, real quick, let's go to 1 Corinthians 10, right? We're going to read verse 25. And it reads, so we got to understand what Paul is dealing with, man. Stop listening to these damn Christians, man. Right? So this 1 Corinthians 10 and 25, it says, whatsoever is sold in the shambles, right? Let's go into that word shambles, right? It means a place where meat and other articles of food are sold, a meat market. So like we was reading about the Agora, the marketplace, right? It was meat sold there as well, right? So it says, whatsoever is sold in the shambles, that eat, asking no question for conscience sake. So you don't go in the meat market, right? And this is dealing with the in the ancient times, but even today, you don't go in the damn meat market and start asking, hey, what farm did this come from? Are you sure it's no pork in here? Are you sure they didn't put steroids in it when they were growing it? Are you sure that's not GMO? Hey, you kind of go in there, you don't ask no questions. You eat it for conscience sake. Hey, and you got grace in the Lord. If it's defiled, hey, that's why we got grace through Yahushua, man. Right? So don't frustrate the grace that you get through Yahushua. Real quick, let's get that. Right? Because that's what you will be doing. You will be trying to be saved by your own works. If you going that hard to keep the law, that's you trying to be saved by your own works. You damn calling every damn farmer. Did this meat come from you? Right? How did you grow this? How did you understand? You would be bugging yourself out. Right? So this Galatians 2 and 21. And it reads, I do not frustrate the grace of the Most High God. Right? So you gotta live in that grace, man. Right? Stop frustrating the grace of the Lord, man. Right? It says, for if righteousness come by the law, then Yahushua is dead in vain. Right? So if you're trying to be sought or be seen as righteous through your keeping of the law, hey, then Yahushua is dead in vain. You understand? So, hey, don't frustrate the grace of the Most High God. Hey, that burger you ate 3 days ago, right, that says 100% beef, hey, it may have been cross-contaminated or defiled in some way. You understand? It might was killed the wrong way. You understand? And you ate it. So really you really broke the law. But that's why we got grace, man. Right? The Lord understands. We live in captivity. Right? In your mind, you didn't really fully know that, hey, this meat is off. Right? So that's why we got to live in grace. Don't frustrate the grace of the Most High. Right? So let's go back to 1 Corinthians 10 and read verse 25 again. It says, whatsoever is sold in the shambles, that eat, asking no question for conscience sake. Right? For the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. If any of them that believe not bid you to a feast, and ye be disposed to go, whatsoever is set before you, eat, asking no question for common conscience sake. Right? So for example, your nephew graduated, right? Now your sister inviting you over. Hey, bring your son, bring your daughter, right? Bring his cousins, right? So they can celebrate his graduation or whatever it may be, right? If you know it's like Christmas or one of these folly holidays, hey, you already know not to go to that thing, man. Right? But you might just go to a feast with your so-called family in the world, man. Right? For whatever the reason may be. Right? And it says, I'm gonna read it again. It says, if any of them that believe not bid you to a feast, and ye be disposed to go, whatsoever is set before you, eat, asking no question for conscience sake. So you're not gonna start then asking your sister, right, what you make this with, right? Or I should say, you're not gonna ask her, were you thinking about white Jesus when you made this? Right? Was this sacrificing to such and such? Right? You're not going to ask these questions. Right? You're not going to go into her cabinet. Did you season it with this? And now you're reading a damn label, trying to make sure it's not no damn whatever in it, man. Right? Hey, the Lord said, whatsoever is set before you, just eat, asking for conscience sake. So it's not talking about unclean foods. Because if it's pork, you're gonna know, hey, we can't eat pork. Right? Or if it's damn crab and lobster, it's already according to the law that you can't eat these things, right? But this is really dealing with food sacrificed unto idols, man, right? So you're not going to ask them, did you pray to white Jesus when you made this? You're not going to ask these things, man. You're going to eat, man, right? And it says, verse 28, but if any man say unto you, this is offered and sacrificed unto idols, right? So if they tell you, yeah, I sacrificed this unto white Jesus when I made it, right? So if your sister tell you that, it says, eat not for his sake that showed it. Eat. So you're not going to eat it for their sake, man. Right? And it says, and for conscience sake, right? And for your conscience sake, because you don't want to knowingly eat food that's sacrificed into an idol. Right? And it says, for the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. It says, conscience, I say, not thy own. So it's not for your own conscience sake, right? Because you might have the faith and be like, man, I know this idol ain't got no power. But it says, but of the other, right? So it's for their conscience sake. You got to be an example unto them. Even though they're not a believer right now, they may start to believe in the Lord, man. Right? And if they're conscious of idols and weak in the faith, you don't want them to feel like they can just eat food that's sacrificed into idols, man. Right? So that's why it says, conscience, I say, not thine own, but of the other. For why is my liberty judge of another man's conscience? For if I by grace be a partaker, why am I evil spoken of for that for which I give thanks? Right? It says, whether therefore ye eat or drink, whatsoever ye do, do all to the glory of the Most High God. Give none offense neither to Jews nor Gentiles, which is Israelite foreigners, nor to the church of the Most High. It says, even as I please all men in all things, not seeking my own profit, but the profit of many, that they may be saved. So you can't be thinking about yourself in this thing, man. Right? It's all about the conscious sake of your brother, right? So that now we can go back to Romans 14. We just have to really know what we're dealing with. You understand? So this Romans 14. So this is what this whole chapter is dealing with in this context, right? And I'm gonna prove it, right? Let's start from 13. Romans 14 and 13. It says, let us not therefore judge one another anymore. You see that? But judge this rather, that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way. It's talking about the same things when in those other chapters that we just went into, right? Dealing with not allowing these your faith to be a stumbling block for your brother that's weaker in the faith, man. It's the same thing as dealing with food sacrificing to idols, right? Now we're gonna read verse 14 again. It says, I know and am persuaded by the Lord Yahushai that there is nothing unclean of himself. Right? So if you see some lamb and a man says, yeah, but this is for a Valentine's Day special, right? Or Christmas Day special, right? Somebody that's weak in the faith, they might be like, hey, well, I'm not buying that then because that means they might have it's sacrificing to idols, right? Or you might have a butcher around the corner who says, this is halal, right? The damn Muslim, they might say this is halal meat, right? One brother might be like, hey, I'm not eating that because it's sacrificed to an idol, right? Another brother might be like, man, that idol don't have no power in this world, right? But it's still beef, man, and beef is clean. So he's not talking about pork or folly like that. He's talking about idols, right? So it says, I know and am persuaded by the Lord Yahweh Shai that there is nothing unclean of itself, right? So that lamb or beef that's in that halal market, right? It's not unclean, man. Because according to the law, it's still clean food, man, right? But another brother might say that's unclean because it's halal, right? And it says, but to him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean, right? And there's nothing wrong for that brother saying, I'm not eating that because it's halal, right? However you pronounce that word, I'm not eating it, right? I'm not eating it because it's a Christmas special, right? Because if your mind is telling you that's unclean, hey, listen to your conscience. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind, right? As said in Romans 14 and 5, right? In verse 15 it says, but if thy brother be grieved with thy meat, now walkest thou not charitably. Now see that? Now it's going back into the same things that we were just reading, right? But so if your brother be grieved with your meat, right, you just kind of eating in his face, right? Hey, that's for example, you walk into a market, right? You see a big fat Buddha standing there. Now your brother, hey, he don't want to eat from there. He don't want to buy any food from there because he's like, hey, brother, this sacrificing to Buddha. But you in your mind, right, in your faith, you're like, man, Buddha ain't got no damn power, man. We about to eat, right? Hey, you got to be like, hey, if my brother don't want to eat here, right, hey, we not eating here. You can't be a stumbling block for your brother, man, right? Now you're not walking charitably. Now you're walking without love for your brother. You're only thinking about yourself, man, right? So it says, but if thy brother be grieved with thy meat, now walkest thou not charitably. Destroy not him with thy meat. So don't try to convince him to eat from that damn marketplace with you, man. Because in his mind, he's about to be eating the food that's sacrificing to idols. And now you're going to destroy him, right? And it says, for whom Yahweh Shai died. And you don't want to destroy a brother whom Yahweh Shai died for, man. That's deep. And it says, verse 16, let not then your good be evil spoken of. For the kingdom of God, now this is a heavy verse as well for the Christians. They will use this and say, hey, you see that? It don't matter what you eat. That's not what's going to get you to the kingdom. But this is not what it's talking about. It says, for the kingdom of God is not meat and drink, right? It's still dealing with the same context, right? Food sacrificing to idols. It says, but righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Spirit, right? And it says, for he that in these things serveth Yahweh Shai is acceptable to the Most High and approved of men, right? And reading on, it says, let us therefore follow after the things which make for peace and things wherewith one may edify another. For meat destroyeth not the work of the Most High. All things indeed are pure, but it is evil for that man who eateth with offense. So it's evil for the man who's offended in his heart, right? He's eating something that he feels like deep down inside is sacrificing to idols is evil for him, man, right? Because now he's going to destroy himself. Damn, I should have never ate that. Damn, I know I just ate something that's sacrificing to a damn false god. I feel like I'm going to be put to death now, man. I shouldn't have listened to these brothers, right? So if that brother is fully persuaded in his mind that something is sacrificing to idols or something is unclean, hey, he shouldn't eat it, right? So even today, we don't want to get on our brothers and sisters who say, I'm going to be a vegetarian. I'm only going to eat the lamb on the Passover, right? Because the food is mixed with GMOs, right? All the food is defiled. Hey, we can't look down on those brothers, man, right? So it says, because they're fully persuaded in their mind that they shouldn't be eating these things, right? So we're not going to despise them, and they can't judge us, right? And it says, verse 21, it is good neither to eat flesh, nor to drink wine, nor anything whereby thy brother stumbleth. You see that? So like I was going into earlier, right? If your brother saying, man, wine is not good for me, it makes me do wicked things, I feel like wine is wicked. Hey, I'm not going to sip a whole bottle of yan in my brother's face. I'll wait till I depart from him, and then I go home and sip my yan. I'm not going to be a stumbling block unto my brother, kind of drinking in his face. This yan good, right? Kind of tapping on his shoulder. Hey, brother, you might as well get a sip, brother. Come on, brother, you going on? Take a sip, right? That's you being a stumbling block unto your brother, man, right? And it says, Salaki, where was I at? Bear with me. Verse 21, it says, it is good neither to eat flesh, nor to drink wine, nor anything whereby thy brother stumbleth. It says, or is offended, or is made weak, right? So if it's offending your brother or making him weak, hey, you could don't do that in front of his face, man. Don't be a stumbling block unto your brother, right? And it says, hast thou faith? Have it to thyself before the Most High. Happy is he that condemneth not himself in a thing which he alloweth, right? And you're happy when you're not condemning yourself, man, right? So, hey, if you feel like wine is wicked, don't sip it and just sit there in your mind. Now you're condemning yourself in your mind, man, Man, hey, black man, to me, it's wicked. I'm not gonna drink it. Hey, to me, Buddha has some type of power, so I'm not gonna eat anything if I see Buddha in a damn marketplace, man. Right? That's what that's going into, and it says the last verse, and he that doubteth is damned if he eat. So if you doubt in your heart that a certain thing is clean, and now you just eating because other brothers say, "Come on, brother, eat," right? Hey, you gonna damn yourself, man. Right? It says because he eateth not of faith. Right, because now you're not eating of faith, man. Right, because your faith is set toward the fact that, hey, that idol has some power and that food is unclean. Right, so if you go against what your conscience is telling you and you eat, now you condemning yourself, man. Right, and it says, for whatsoever is not of faith is sin. Right, anything that is not of faith is sin. You understand? Right? So if your faith is telling you, hey, I could eat this thing, the Most High God is the only power, hey, go ahead and eat it. But if your faith is saying, hey, she sacrificed that unto white Jesus, I'm not eating that, man. Right? And now you go against what your faith is telling you and you eat it, hey, now you sin. Because anything that is not of faith is sin. Right? And I'm going to get one more and we're going to close out. Right? So we got to be able to cut up these folly Christian doctrines, man, in these last days. Right? So this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 17. It reads, and this is a future prophecy talking about the return of Yahushua. And it says, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh and the abomination. You see that? And the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. Right, and that's a future prophecy talking about the return of Yahushua, which shows you that the dietary law is going to still be here when Yahushua returns, man. Right? So, hey, all that the law is done away, now we can eat anything we want to, is all folly and lies, man. Right? It's all folly and lies. And if you hearken into the doctrines of these Christians, you're going to be put to death, man. Right? Because the Lord said, everybody he catches eating swine's flesh, the mouse and the abomination, hey, they're going to be put to death. The Lord said they're going to be consumed together, man. Right? Let me get this real quick in Deuteronomy 14. Deuteronomy 14. Salaki, that's not what I want. It goes into the abomination. And Deuteronomy. Salaki, bear with me. Well, I can't find it. I'm gonna end it with that though. Lord willing, this is edifying, right? Lord willing, brothers got the understanding, right? Matter of fact, I'm gonna read these. Salaki, I'm gonna read these. This Leviticus 11:11. Let me go into it. Leviticus 11:11, just to show you what the Lord is talking about in Isaiah 66 when he says the abomination, right? So when you read in Leviticus, I'm gonna start from 7. It says, and the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you, right? And I'm gonna jump to verse. I kind of can't find it. But when you go into it, it shows you that these different foods, right? These different unclean foods are an abomination unto the Lord, man. Right? I'm trying to find a specific one. All right? Salakia, bear with me. Bear with me. Yeah, I can't find it. But with that, I want to say Shalom, Yasha Allah. Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Shalom.